The federal government comes on board, allowing the Toronto Transit Commission to negotiate exclusively with Alstom on a new subway contract. Good evening, I'm Ryan Benazzo. Thank you for joining us. Local politicians and Alstom employees are celebrating the news that all three levels of government have now given the TTC the go-ahead to sole source a major subway contract directly to the company. The project to build 70 subway trains totaling 420 cars is valued at close to $3 billion. But some of that work is expected to be done at Alstom's plant in Kingston, and local officials are lobbying to have most of the work come here. Jonathan Wilson reports.
It's the announcement that officials in Thunder Bay have been waiting a long time to hear. The Toronto Transit Commission says it's been given the green light to sole source the Line 2 subway contract to Alstom. And that contract just got bigger as well. It was originally for 55 subway trains, consisting of 330 total cars, with a value of $2.2 billion. It's now been bumped to 70 trains and 420 cars.
And to see that all three levels of government again supported this and supported the sole sourcing as well as the TTC, this is great news. Great news for us. It's great news for Alstom. This is what the union's been lobbying for a couple of years now. And finally we had the announcement, and it's exactly kind of what we wanted to hear. It's Alstom got the contract.
This is fantastic news for Thunder Bay. It's fantastic news for all the people that work at Alstom.
The federal share of the funding for the contract was announced back in November, with Minister Chrystia Freeland saying she expected and would like to see the cars built in Thunder Bay. But there were no guarantees at that time that Alstom would even win the contract. The push to abandon a request for tenders and sole source the contract due to U.S. tariffs started with Ontario Transportation Minister Prabmeet Sarkaria in April. Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow agreed with that idea and then called on the federal government in June to get on board. Now that's official, but Pawlowski says this was always his government's intent.
There wasn't really any question as to whether the government supported this. I think they certainly do. Chrystia Freeland made that fantastic statement a number of months ago that those trains would be built right here in Thunder Bay. I think there is almost uniformity of opinion that we want as much of the work as possible done in Canada and in Thunder Bay, but you have to cross the T's, dot the I's, and get the legalities right, and that's what's taken a bit of time.
The last time the Thunder Bay plant built 420 Toronto Rocket subway cars between 2007 and 2014. The contract created 400 to 500 local jobs, but it appears this contract will be shared between the Thunder Bay Alstom plant and the one in Kingston. The question now is, which site will get more than 50% of the work?
The two main facilities in Ontario are the Thunder Bay site and the Kingston site. The last time we had final assembly here, so the union's going to be fighting hard to make sure that final assembly is done here in Thunder Bay again. As long as the bulk of the work and a lot of the spin-off jobs, we want to be in Thunder Bay and the surrounding area as well, so it's good for the Thunder Bay and the region.
And I think that's part of the negotiations, but I would certainly like to see most of the work done in Thunder Bay with final assembly being done in Thunder Bay.
The fine details of the contract, including the price tag and the scope of work at each plant, will be finalized by Alstom and the TTC by the end of the year. Jonathan Wilson, TBT News.
And Thunder Bay Atikokan MPP Kevin Holland has also expressed his satisfaction, saying in part, "I'm very pleased that the TTC has now agreed with our advocacy to protect Ontario's transit manufacturing and workers, anchoring hundreds of good-paying jobs in Thunder Bay." Well, the Thunder Bay International Airport is advising travelers of possible Air Canada service disruptions starting overnight tonight. The airport has taken to social media noting that Air Canada has begun to wind down operations. It's in response to a strike notice issued by CUPE, which represents flight attendants nationwide. Service interruptions could begin as early as 12:58 a.m. Travelers are advised to check their flight status before heading to the airport. Thunder Bay police have arrested a robbery suspect connected to 4 incidents at the same location this week. Officers were dispatched to the 300 block of North May Street yesterday morning after receiving a report about a robbery with a knife that had just occurred. A 24-year-old man who matched the subject description was located a few minutes later and arrested after a brief attempt to run from police. The man's been charged with 3 counts of robbery and 1 count of theft under $5,000. The Northwood neighborhood is about to get its first hotel. Construction has begun on the new 24-unit Luxe Suites at the cost of $8 to $9 million. The boutique hotel's managing partner says it will fill a void right next to the roundabout on Edward Street and provide a unique guest experience when it opens early next year. Ryan Graham reports.
We're building a 25,000 square foot, 24-unit boutique hotel located here in the heart of Northwood Village.
Sherry Papa is the managing partner for the new Luxe Suites Hotel. Construction is now underway by Terralux General Contractors and Development on the vacant lot next to Supreme Cleaners on Edward Street. Papa says the three-story boutique hotel will feature fully furnished suites with kitchens and balconies and larger rooms than standard hotels. It will be geared towards extended stay guests, and Papa predicts this will be the first of several Luxe Suites hotels.
It's our own brand. It's not a franchise. There's a huge demand in the city for housing and rooming, and I know the hotels are full and at full occupancy right now, so I do believe that there's a huge need and demand for something like Luxe Suites.
Papa says the hotel will be ideally located midway between the Thunder Bay Airport and the regional hospital, and right near all the attractions in Northwood. She feels putting a hotel next to the roundabout at Edward Street and Redwood Avenue will provide a nice addition, which completes that intersection aesthetically.
There's a lot of buzz happening about the project in the neighborhood for sure. I know there's some Facebook groups that are chatting her up about the what's happening here, and so we're very thrilled to be able to share the exciting news now that we are bringing Luxe Suites to the neighborhood.
Papa says they'll be looking to hire employees for the hotel early next year, in time for their grand opening date, which is still to be determined.
So we're hoping to have the doors open early 2026. So very soon. We're acting very fast, as you can see, and we're going to be welcoming our customers. Cannot wait to open our doors, in early 2026 and welcome guests to experience the unmatched comfort, style, and convenience of Luxe Suites.
Ryan Graham, TBT News.
The Harry Kirk City Archives office is running out of space, and archives officials are now looking for a contractor to expand the facility on North Vickers Street to give them enough space for about 40 more years worth of city archive materials. Construction is expected to start this fall. Jessica Clement reports.
Just about every shelf at the City Archives office is now full, and officials are planning to expand the facility to make it around 20% larger. The new portion would be built on the staff parking lot on the north side of the building. City archivist Christina Wakefield says it'll give them 4,200 square feet of extra space, or enough room to store approximately 40 years worth of archives.
We're also going to have some space for preservation and conservation so that our staff can do a little bit more work on preserving the records that we have. And we're going to have a classroom and a brand new reading room. So we'll be able to serve the public a whole lot better.
The facility on Vickers Street houses thousands of priceless and historic items and documents spanning from the 1870s to today.
We have over 10,000 bankers' boxes of records. And we also have a full room full of maps. We've got artifacts and a number of digital items as well.
The request for proposals closes on August 21st. Once a contractor is selected, construction is expected to start this fall and wrap up by June of next year. Wakefield says this is something that's been in the works for a long time.
I've been working towards this since about 2016, just trying to figure out what we would need and what kind of space that would require. So it's very exciting to me, and I've had my hand in helping to design what we want and which spaces we need.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
The 5th annual Raising the Bar Charity Golf Classic was another big success at Whitewater Golf Club today. The charity tournament is held in memory of local golfer Dustin Barr, who died of cancer at age 24. And the highlight again this year was the helicopter drop, known as Golf Balls from Heaven. Hanging from the helicopter was a container holding more than 4,000 numbered golf balls, all purchased by supporters of the charity. The golf balls were then released onto the green, with the 3 balls that landed closest to the pin winning cash prizes. Caitlin Barr says her brother Dustin, a promising local golfer, battled cancer for 8 years before passing away in 2020. The proceeds go to help families deal with the cost of putting their lives and careers on hold while their children undergo treatment.
I don't even know if Dustin would have words. He would be so honored. Dustin he loved to give back to people. He loved to help other people. So the fact that we can help families specifically going through the same thing what we did, I think he would be so touched.
The closest golf ball was purchased by Jenna Fatkin, who won $5,000. Elizabeth McLennan won $3,000, and Karen Sangera won $2,000. The ball drop and tournament raised about $70,000. The 43rd annual Westport Street Fair is expected to be the biggest one yet, with a record number of vendors and a variety of local performers. Taking place on Frederica Street tomorrow from 9 to 5, the street fair is expected to bring out thousands to take part in the end of summer celebration. There'll be a little something for everyone, with live music, 120 vendors, a beer garden, and a kids zone. The event is also bringing back the hot dog and hot pepper eating contests. Co-organizer Aaron Gillingham from the Sal restaurant says they're inviting residents from all over Thunder Bay to stop by and experience what Westport has to offer.
It's always been a very big marquee event for our neighborhood, but it's become almost more than that now. It's such a citywide event, and truly, like, by 2 o'clock, you almost can't get across the street because there's thousands and thousands of people here. So it's amazing to see it grow. It's amazing to see more businesses take part, you know, we spend a lot of time planning. The organizing committee, we start early in the year. We meet every week, so a lot goes into this event. So it's a great one to see.
It's a fun event every single year, and of course, Fiona, a lot of people are going to want to know what the temperatures are going to be like for that event and many others happening around the city. Quebec Half Marathon as well happening on Sunday. So
near
a lot
and dear to your heart.
I will be in that for better or worse. You know, a lot of people hoping that maybe the humidex comes down a little compared to what we had today.
Yeah, things are looking a little bit better. You mentioned the Westport Street Fair all day Saturday. We've also got the Drive-By Art Gallery on Saturday afternoon, the Japanese Summer Matsuri at the West Thunder Community Center, which is always a lot of fun, on Saturday evening. And then one that I hadn't heard of before, the Jan Mashtami at the Vedic Cultural Center on Saturday night.
Lots going on.
And we can't forget the Murillo Fall Fair and Anishinaabe Kishigan at Fort William Historical Park all weekend long. So no pressure.
Yeah.
No pressure to make sure that there's a good weekend. And boy, this started out hot this weekend, way warmer than we were expecting it to be. We had a low of 17. We hit a high of 30. And for about 3 hours, the humidex sat at 38 this afternoon. I believe right now it's a much cooler 37 humidex, so very nice to have. Mostly cloudy and winds from the southwest 11 to 37 kilometers per hour. I can only be thankful that the sun was not out in full force. I think that would have been too much to handle. Across the region, though, there is some cooler air coming in from the northwest. Now, Fort Frances, lots of sunshine at this time. They're at their daytime high of 25. No humidex, though, to speak of. So this 25 is actually probably quite comfortable, quite a lovely evening. As you head further north, we've got 24 in Dryden, 23 in Kenora and Sioux Lookout, but Red Lake just 17 Celsius. And despite having a very sunny start, they saw increasing clouds all afternoon, winds from the west gusting up to 50 kilometers per hour, and only topped out with a high of 19. So stayed definitely cooler than other areas. As you head further east, though, the humidex starts to come back into play. Now, Armstrong, very sunny this hour at 27. Humidex making it feel warmer than that. Greenstone, however, is dealing with their third day in a row of haze. periods of rain, which kept things quite cool for most of the day. It wasn't until about 3 hours ago that temperatures started to rise sharply, topping out at 27 an hour ago. They're currently at 26 and a humidex of 33, despite all of this haze. Now, the humidex also affects Nipigon. They're seeing 29 and a humidex of 35 this afternoon, 27 in Wawa, 28 in Sault Ste. Marie. Mostly cloudy most of the day, but also a humidex of 35. The one outlier in this whole area is Marathon, with winds directly off the lake. They're currently at a high of 18, and after mist and thunderstorms for much of the day, it's no surprise it is quite cooler there. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we are going to cool down very nicely overnight, a low of 13, partly cloudy to start, but there's a 40% chance of showers that's going to move in before morning, with winds fairly light from the west, starting out at 15 kilometers per hour and then tapering off down to 5. Now, that doesn't look good considering we have so many events, but here's the good news. The risk of rain is just for Saturday morning. After that, things will clear out, and when you see the maps showing the pattern and the movement of the systems through Thunder Bay specifically and other areas of northwestern Ontario, I think folks are going to be quite happy with the forecast they've got for the weekend. So I think I should be safe from the furor.
Yeah, you just want to save yourself the angry emails. That's
Absolutely.
Purely selfish
It's all about me.
intentions. All right, well, we all benefit, so thanks a lot, Fiona.